Jason, thank you for taking your time out and talking with us.
Right on, great to be here. Thank you.
Real quick, so first things first, for those that don't know, can you please explain how EOTO came to fruition? Because obviously you're in string cheese, and this is something that kind of developed out of that. So how did that come about?
Yep, well, it started, I joined String Cheese at around 2004, and I would stay at Travis's place when I'd be out there. Everyone else has families, and I'd kind of stay at each person's house, but I'd spend most of the time at Travis's. And after practice, we'd finish practice about 6 or 7 p.m., and there'd be nothing to do. Travis doesn't really live, or didn't live near downtown Boulder, so we would just set up random musical gear and play on it from like 10 at night till like 4 in the morning. Every night was sort of party night, but listening to music and playing on different instruments. And eventually the stuff that we really enjoyed playing, just the two of us, was a lot of like down tempo and chill, but kind of like with electronic style beats. So I would set up a weird sort of drum kit that just had different sounds, and he'd play mostly on his bass. And eventually he put got a looper with his bass, so we could play some different things. And we just started having fun looping things. And at that time I had already been using Ableton 2. It was like in its second version. And I was like, well, if we really want to try and do this would be the best way to have, control over our stuff. And we were still just having fun, just jamming till, sunrise every night. And then at some point, Jamie Janover was getting the first Sonic Bloom together, and he asked us if we wanted to do it, just to perform out there. And like, we don't even have a name, we're not trying to do anything, but it gave us an excuse to really get our stuff together, pull it together for a show. And
awesome.
Then we've been doing it since then.
Now, when you guys first started out, I know you guys were more like trance, housey, breakbeat oriented, and now you guys are incorporating more dubstep into your acts. Can you explain how you guys have kind of switched over and why you guys are incorporating a little more dubstep?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit evolution of the scene. If you listen to guys that we were listening to at the time when we started, like Bass Nectar and Tipper. There's this guy Bill Bless, who is son of the Electric Ghost. These were like really big influences on us starting, and I'd listen to Sound Tribe for some of their live drum and bass stuff. Zach's a killer drummer with that, and so it was just, that was kind of what was happening at the time. And even Bass Nectar was doing a lot more breakbeat stuff, and that's what we really liked. And so that was around, dubstep wasn't even on the scene, or back then dubstep was really mellow. It's like if you went to an electronic party, dubstep was like where they had the couches set up, and the people would just be like, it'd be really slow wobbles. And then like, I think it was 2009, we went to Shambhala up in British Columbia and saw DJ Scream's set up there. And that was the first time we saw, we heard like the aggressive dubstep stuff. And he played in this place called The Village, which, Bass Nectar is normally like the king of, just this incredible stage. And Scream did this one drop that it was like watching a movie set. Just everyone went, whoa, what the hell? And me and Travis were in different places at the time, but when we caught up with each other, we talked about that moment, and it was just, it was inspiring. So I had a mixtape of this guy SPL, who's one of our big influences. Yeah, he's great. But I hadn't heard it yet, so I was like, well, I got this dubstep mix that I just listened to, and SPL, it was like 2.5 hours of just like the best set. We listened to that for the whole ride to we were playing Whitefish, Montana after that, and we were like, well, let's just try it, because we had fun when there was none of that in the States at the time, so it felt like it was fun for us to dive into.
Awesome.
And then all of a sudden that wave hit after that, and then we saw Excision the next year, and that just doubly impacted it, because Excision kind of blew everyone away there. But just very, very, really great moments of inspiration. And at that time, it hadn't been so blown up, so we felt like, we were sort of discovering it.
That's awesome.
On the tip of it, yeah.
Right. So now, I know that you guys are strictly improv when you guys are on stage playing. How do you practice when you are strictly improv? I mean, I know you said you messed around with loops and you were doing everything when you guys were first starting out, but how do you, because I read that you would obviously move to the crowd, whatever the crowd was doing, and you try to, play to the crowd, so to speak, and
Absolutely.
whatever they're feeling. So how do you guys? What's a practice like for you then?
Well, we don't practice anymore. We haven't practiced for like a couple of years now. When we would first get together, we would do stuff like, you know, when we weren't even trying to be a group, we would do a lot of listening to, like, there was this internet, I think it's still out there, internet radio station called Groove Salad, which is mostly down-tempo chill, and we just really liked listening to that when we would take breaks just from being, you know, tired of playing, and we'd hear something like, oh, let's try to do something like that. You know, and when we recorded a couple of our CDs, the way we do each of those songs is listen a little bit to a flavor that we liked and say, how about you try to, you know, get that kind of sound there, or me try to get that kind of beat there. And they're going to do LMFA tonight. Let's see, and so it was really, that's how we would practice, just listening to other stuff. And we got something that we had to work out between us was just all the technical stuff going on, because we have so many things assigned to our template as far as MIDI controllers and knobs and buttons, and we just try to get good at transitioning from one mood to another mood. And that was all in the early practice, and a lot of that was really frustrating. But after a while, after we got that down and played a ton of live shows, then we just kind of don't need to practice anymore.
So you guys are touring what? I think you guys have done like 700 shows, I want to say, or more than that. You guys are touring?
Yeah, I think we're over 750 shows. I stopped counting. This was, you know, kind of actually a lower touring year for us. I think we were in the 140s, but mostly because String Cheese was doing a run this fall. String Cheese had some summer things going on too. So
over 700 shows since you guys have started. How do you keep your sanity on tour? What do you do to not go crazy?
Well, I think we lose it for a while there, and then, you know, try to find our way back into it. You know, there's some nights, night after night after night, we do play the show, hang out, you know, usually with the good people in the city for some late night after party. Something that helped earlier this year is we finally took a proper tour bus on there. So even if we were going to bed at 9 in the morning, it was kind of like you could go right to a bunk. The driver drives, you know, to the next city. You wake up in the next city magically, and you know, get ready to do it again. So that helped out a lot, just as far as just the wear and tear, and you know, and then as far as, you know, just everyone within the group, like the people that we tour with, Zebler, our video guy, Chris, our tech guy, should be our merch girl, and me and Travis. You just, you know, with whatever comes up, you know, you deal with it, and you make it through. And it really does feel like a family, you know, after a while. Everyone gets on everyone else's nerves for a while and finds different ways to sort it out. And it all lends itself to, you know, the show each and every night. So.
Now, before you go on stage, do you have any pre-show rituals, anything that you like to do before you get on there? I mean, I'm sure you probably don't get nervous, right? Or do you still get nervous?
Yeah, no, not so much nervous, but always anticipating. Right. I always anticipate going out there, and it's like, all right, there's, you know, maybe 85 to 90% of the people are going to see us this one time, you know, on tour. There's probably a good percentage of people that are seeing us for the first time, and you just got to leave that impression, like, you know, that was the best show of the tour, and always trying to aim for that every night, you know. So even if I'm sick or anything like that, that's almost more reason to get more up for it and play as good as you can every night.
Now, I know you mentioned Stream and Excision as some producers that you like. Is there any more that you kind of got your eye on right now?
Oh yeah, well, I follow it pretty close because I do my DJ set thing, and I always try to play music that's just come out like within the last 2 months or so. Right. And the guys that I'm really liking now are like Boy Kid Cloud, and who else? I like Helicopter Showdown and Sluggo, Adroa, Mark Instinct. There's all these cats that are just really solid, and who's the guy? Dollar Dubs and Schism. There's so many people are getting really good at doing it, and it's not all sounding the same. I mean, if you casually listen to dubstep, it just sounds like a lot of aggressive stuff coming at you. But you look at it from like a producer's, angle, and guys are messing it up in a good way.
Now, you had mentioned you have your DJ, your other DJ project called Profit Massive.
Yes.
Which I just saw you play at House of Blues,
Oh,
which was
nice.
awesome.
Nice.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that for me, please?
Yeah, it's just I don't even know how that came about. I think it was like we were at this thing called Underground Sound, and I think a DJ wasn't showing up after Vibe Squad or something like that, and I always have had like something like a DJ set to sort of play with, and I think I had about 2 days to get it together. And I was like, yeah, I'll do a set after Vibe Squad. There wasn't really any pressure to do it, so I went for it, and it went over good. And this kid Jorge out of St. Louis asked me to do a set, like some set that he was just throwing together speakers on top of each other and do some late night set. And we made it happen. It sounded terrible out there, like the speakers just were all blown out and stuff. But we had such a good time. And so I got the bug for it, and I'm kind of like, I've only played one of my original songs. I'm always playing other people's music, so I don't like to do it a lot, because I don't want to get sick of music. I want it to be kind of like an honest thing. Like I'm still really enjoying these songs that I'm playing for people. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing a bunch more of it.
Awesome. Now, we have a lot of aspiring producers that read the blog and watch what we have going on. Do you have any advice that you can give to anybody who's trying to come up, and maybe something that you've learned along the way that you can maybe help out some of these guys that are trying to do what you're doing, or hope to get in your position one day?
Yeah, for just strictly producers and DJs, there's so much information online as far as like, you want to get a certain sound. It doesn't have to be dubstep, but whatever sound you enjoy listening to, chances are if you type in their name and you type in like Google or something, you type in like tutorial or wobble bass, and or how do you make dubstep, or how do you make electro or whatever. Yeah, you'll find all kinds of things come up. So just for free, you have all these teachers out there that you have access to, and one thing leads to another. It's just as you follow one pet link to another link, you'll just be able to learn more and more stuff. And as far as like on the playing tip, on the live playing, you just got to keep practicing your instrument. It's endless. I mean, we use a lot of like technology as far as like the computers and assigning MIDI controls to different parts of our laptop, but we're playing it all live. So having to play live means me playing half the time, with one hand on the drum set and the other hand hitting buttons and turning knobs and things like that. And that whole thing becomes a whole new instrument. And the same for Travis. He might be playing keyboards or bass, but to loop himself, he's got to step on something and do it at the right timing to where it's gonna come around and record itself the right way. And that takes a lot of practice, because just your instrument alone is a lifetime of practice. You start adding these other things, and it takes on its own character. So there's nothing substitute, hard work and really going after it.
Awesome. Now you guys have had quite a year. 2011 has been awesome for you. Can you guys fill in the fans what you guys have in store for them in 2012?
Oh, 2012. Yeah. Well, one big thing that we're trying to do as EOTO is we're not so much touring at the beginning of the year. We have some spot things here and there, but we're really trying to get a production show together. And so what's in the works, and this is the first time kind of talked about it, is having our setup on risers, but within this sort of lotus flower, this giant lotus flower that we're going to have like 3D mapping on and stuff, and have a lot of content on the big screen in back of us, so it feels like we're on some kind of like launching pad traveling to other planets and stuff during the show. And so it's not like with on the level that oh man, who's the dude that had the ESOM show? Yeah, Eamon Tobin. It's not on the level of that, but we're trying to step up there, because we want to take it to another level visually too, and but at the same time still trying to emphasize that we're doing all this stuff live, and it's just two dudes up there and making it all up on the spot. So
well, I'm definitely looking forward to see what EOTO has in store for you guys in 2012. Jason, thank you again for sitting down and talking with us. I really appreciate it. Once again, this is Subnoxious for Developmental.com. We'll see you guys next time.
Woo!